Okay, you are honestly, I mean, you've been part, I feel like, of so many people's lives because a lot of people grew up with you and your
I
sister
know.
Tia.
So
You
honored.
started acting, I mean, so early on. I think your first
Yes.
role was, I did a little
Research.
investigation, yes.
Same.
You started at like 13, 14.
So I got my first job, yes, at 13, 14. I moved from Texas. I lived in a small army town called Killeen. Only people who know Killeen or live in Killeen know Killeen. That's how small it is. And my sister and I, we used to watch Days of Our Lives, the soaps. And there was a show called Star Search back in the day with Ed McMahon. And we wanted to be on that. And my mom did her research. And she was like, you know what, Texas is probably not the best place to be if you want to be on TV, you want to be an actress.
Hmm.
So why don't we move to LA? And so we packed up everything and just went out on faith. Like, we didn't have a job, we didn't have anything at
Wow.
that point. We did like pageants and stuff like that. And so I was 11. So I would audition. We auditioned for 3 years before we actually booked, like Sister Sister. We got Sister Sister at 14. So that's what a lot
Wow.
of people don't know. That whole process took 2 years to happen. But it's unheard sometimes to hear of young, children going to Hollywood when they're 11 and then booking something as classic as Sister Sister like in 3 years,
I
right?
know.
I look
Yeah,
back and I'm
it's
like, how did we do that?
I know it was. I wonder if, well, first of all, was acting like a passion for you, both of you? Was it something you're like, I'm here for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put everything into it.
100%. I knew at 10 that yes, that I wanted to act. At 8, I wanted to dance. I remember just seeing girls like on Star Search and stuff. And I was like, I want to do that. And I was always like, just interested in moving my body. I loved music. And I loved like just entertainment, people
Hmm.
entertaining. So my mom put my sister and I in this dance group called Fancy Prancy Dancers. And we did that. And then that love of just entertaining kind of like transitioned into, acting. And
Hmm.
I did a community play in a smaller town in Texas. It's a town called Copper's Cove. And fun fact, Jennifer Love Hewitt is from that town as well.
Oh,
And
wow.
she did a pageant a year before I did. She won. I got top 10. I was happy with just being
It
top 10.
didn't stop you though. Let me tell you.
No,
Didn't
absolutely
stop you.
not. No, I loved it. After I did the community play, I felt, I guess, when you find your passion, it feels like, yes, there's work involved,
Hmm.
always, trying to better your craft, etc. But it just feels like home. It
Mm.
was just, I was like, oh my gosh, I found what I want to do. And it just started like with a small community play. That's it.
I have to say, though, to the credit of your family and your
Yeah.
mother, I feel like so many parents at that age, I mean, at 10 years old, who's
Yes.
going to listen to their child? I mean, you listen and you kind of encourage them,
Yep.
but to take the whole family,
Everything.
move them, no, not knowing what the future holds, I mean, huge
Yes.
credit.
I know. And she taught me, though, to really pay attention because this is just a belief that I have. I feel like every one of us is innately given a gift, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes you see a spark of it. Obviously you're not given that gift and you're just like perfect, 100%. You can see that little spark, you can see that passion, and you can see them wanting to get better and better and better at it. And that is what my mom saw in her children.
Hmm.
So I definitely have to give it to her because she believed in us, and then also she believed in what she saw. She did make a deal with us though. She said, I'm going to go over to LA And if you guys book something, like first we're just going to visit, because that's a lot, you know, to pick up your
Mm-hmm.
family and just go. But anyway, so yeah, my mom made a deal with us really quickly that if we book a commercial, we go out there for a month, then she knows that she was right. What she saw was
Mm-hmm.
right. What we wanted to do was right. And she was right. We booked a Chrysler commercial, my sister and I, when we went out there for that month.
You've
Yes.
been in the industry for almost 30 years. So what do you feel like changed in Hollywood in general from the time where, you kind of stepped into it to now?
Um, Obviously, I feel like people of color have so many more opportunities. And that is what I loved more than ever, like seeing right now. I was like, oh my gosh, I thank God that these young women of color, just or actors of color, growing up in this industry, they can see that they have, you know, more chances of getting a role. When I was going out for it, it was like you played either that one token black character, but there were like tons of people auditioning for that one little role. So there was this pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now it's not, there's more, it's more than just that one little role, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I will say though, the audition process has changed a lot. When I was younger, they just wanted you kind of like to be a blank slate. You go in, you read, whereas now you have to dress the part. Like,
Mm-hmm. They want you to show up as the character.
yes.
Mm.
Whereas, you know, I feel like the casting process, they were able to have a little bit more creativity looking at like a blank slate. Whereas now it's like, no, you go in playing a secretary, you better look that part, you better dress that part, you better have your little portfolio. You have to embody every bit of the character when you walk in. And I had to learn that the hard way when I got
I
back
know
into
it's like a lot of pressure, I feel.
it's a lot. You hear more no's than yes. And I feel like that is the reason why a lot of actors, if they're not surrounded by an amazing support group, they can become very insecure
Affected by it. Yes.
and affected by it. So I get it, because even I can become insecure with an amazing group of people, you know, around
Mm-hmm.
me. It happens when you hear no, 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 no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no.
But for you, you grew up, I mean, in the spotlight during the most pivotal years for a young woman.
Yes.
How did you stay, well, I don't want to say normal, but like, how did you stay grounded and just didn't go, all these other ways?
I will tell you a lot of it has to do with my parents. My parents, they taught us the importance of character, and they fought for us to have a normal life. There
Mm-hmm.
were times where I was like, but wait, so and so gets to do that, so and so gets to do that. They're like, no, you need to clean your room. Or how are you doing in school? Because we used to be tutored, so we would have to do 8 hours of work in a 3 hour amount of time, because we would have to work, you know, as well. So they wanted us to focus on all of that first. And then I think also they loved the fact that their, you know, kids were happy and doing what they love to do, but they didn't want to be like the star. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the parents who are kind of living vicariously through their children sometimes get
Mm-hmm.
stuck, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there. So they're partying with their child when they should be like, no, 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 we don't need to be at this club. You're 12, you know? And I've been at parties, I'm not kidding, just this past year, like a Netflix party, and before COVID, obviously. And I saw kids there who were kid celebrities. And I'm like, they shouldn't be here. Why are you, why are, but it's because the parents want to be a part of that. So they kept us grounded. They kept us kids. We did
Mm-hmm.
what in the best of their ability, we did what normal kids did.